Today I do have the iPhone 7 Plus, and we're going to be showing you how to disassemble the front screen and change the home button today, because that's the problem that this phone is having. And the tools you'll need for this is the pentalobe screwdriver to take off the two bottom screws from here, as you can see. And instead of a Phillips screwdriver like you'd normally use on the iPhone 6 or any other iPhone, the iPhone 7 is a bit different. iPhone 7 uses a 3-star tip screwdriver. So like I said, if you did buy any parts to replace on your iPhone 7 or 7 Plus, it should come with this tool. And you also need a heat gun to, get the melt down the glue that's on all four corners here of the phone. And yep, let's go ahead and get started with this repair. So first things first, you are going to need to power off the phone. And I recommend powering off any phone before you're repairing it, no matter what phone it is, not just this one specifically. And once you've got that powered off, what you'll do is take your pentalobe screwdriver and remove these two bottom screws here. Now once you've got the two bottom screws out of the phone, you'll take your heat gun or your hair blower, hair dryer. If you do have the hair dryer, you may have to heat up a little bit longer than the heat gun, as they don't get as hot as the heat gun. And one thing to keep in mind while you're heating it, you want to make sure you don't keep the heat on one spot for too long, as it could damage the LCD. So you want to heat it, evenly around all four corners of the phone, just until you feel like it's enough to loosen up the adhesive on it. Now once you've got that done, the iPhone 7, it opens up a little bit differently than the iPhone 6 and the 5. So whereas the 6, you would go from here on up, the iPhone 7, the cables will be laying on this side, so you'll have to come up from the left side here. But you have to be real careful, because there are some, some sockets up here that's holding up the top. So what you want to do is, once you've got your phone heated, you take your flat tool, and what I like to do is I like to go in from under here, get a little bit of leverage up, and once you have that in there, I like to take my plastic tool. And there are different ways to do this. This is just the easiest way in my opinion. Take your plastic tool, run it down the sides. Make sure you don't go in too much, as you can damage the LCD. And once you get a little bit towards the top here, you can kind of move your way around and go back on the other side. Now with a good amount of heat, you should be able to remove all the adhesive down there easily. Now once you see that we are all three corners kind of lifted up, as you can see here, we'll go ahead and set the phone down. What you want to do is you want to slide the phone from on top. You want to slide it down first, because there are the clips up there. And once you slide it down just a good bit, you can see, give it a little space between the frame and the top screen. Then you could lift the screen up from this side. Once you've gotten the screen loose here, you can slide it up this way. And as you can see, there is this cable here that's connected under this plate onto the board. And also, these are the LCD connectors that's under this plate here. What you want to do first is, you could do either or first, it doesn't matter. What I like to do is remove this top plate first. Be real careful to not pull on these cables too hard as you can rip them, and then you'll have to replace it. Now once you've got the screws off that plate, you can remove the plate, set it aside the screws so you know which one goes to which. You can take your plastic tool here, go a little bit under this flex here, and just get it up. Now that you have that cable loose, you still have the LCD connector here under these plates. So you want to go ahead and remove those now. Now once you've gotten those 4 screws out, this plate easily lifts off, and I like to set my plate next to the screws so I know exactly which screw is going to which plate. And you do see there are 2 flex ribbons that's connected to the motherboard here. And if you want, we recommend you doing this. Take the battery loose before you take any more steps here. So I'll go ahead and loosen up this battery flex here. Once you've gotten that out the way, now you can go ahead and remove these LCD connectors from the motherboard. Alright, once you've gotten the screen off of the phone, you can just set the phone aside now and just mainly focus on the screen. Now this is mainly a home button repair tutorial, so if you're looking to change the screen, you may not find all the details here, but I will make another video of that at another time. But now looking at the home button, as you see here on the bottom, there are, let me see, 1, 2, 3, and 4 screws. You're going to want to remove those 4 screws. Once you remove the 4th one, you can kind of see that the plate will easily come off, so you'll just take that plate off, and I'll set it there next to my 4 screws. And now you can see here that this is the home button here, and there is the flex cable for it connected right here. So to remove this, you simply just unplug it from here. And once you've got that unplugged, you want to lift this cable off as it's laying on top. So you want to lift it and hold it up like that, and you can easily, gently, take it from one corner and start working your way over to remove the home button. And once you've gotten that home button removed, you can proceed on putting the new home button on. So now we'll go on and take the new home button assembly to install it onto the screen, which is still right here. The new assembly looks identical to the one that you took off the original one. Now changing this, you will lose your Touch ID, but no one really changed the home button unless it's messed up anyways. So at least you're gonna have the home button function, but you will lose the Touch ID. So to install this here, you would go ahead and the home button on the iPhone 7 Plus, you'd want to stick the flex cable from beneath. So you want to go like this and stick that ribbon in and just kind of hold the button in place. It's quite different from the iPhone 6, as the iPhone 6 where you just sit it on top like this. On the iPhone 7 you have to go in. And once you've gotten the home ribbon in, you see that you are going to need to hold up this cable again, the connector, and hold it up and just get your home button flex in, and then put that connector on top. And now you just go ahead and connect it back to how it was. You should hear a little pop or a little snap. That's how you know you've gotten it in right. Now once you've gotten that in place, as I have here, you can go ahead and take the plate, the home button plate, which we've taken off, along with the 4 screws, and just sit it on top, align the screws together. And go ahead and install the screws back in to hold that plate in place. Alright, now that we've gotten that plate back in place, we're ready to install the screen back onto the phone. Now you can do this whichever way you'd like, but for starters, the easiest way to do it is to connect this top ribbon first. So what you'll do is, having the battery unplugged still, you'll go ahead and take this top ribbon here and lay it down onto the connector and just snap it in. Make sure you get it just right, and you'll, like I said, you'll hear it snap in. Now once you've gotten that done, you'll go ahead and work on these two connectors. The shorter one's going to go in first and the longer one's going to plug in second. Now you want to be sure you do hear a little snap on these connectors. That's how you know it's in all the way, and because you want to have this battery unplugged also, because if you do plug it in just slightly off, you can easily short the board out. So that's why it's important to have this battery unplugged while you're reconnecting everything. And once you feel the snap, then you're good to go. Now once you got all that back in, you can go ahead and install the battery back. You should hear that snap also. And take the plate that was covering up these connectors and go ahead and install it, fasten the screws. It is a lot easier, in my opinion, when you are taking the screws out. You want to set them in order, you know, from left to right, and just set them out like left to right. So whenever you're installing them, you can go either way and you'll know which screw is for which hole. That way you don't damage the motherboard by installing the wrong screw where it doesn't belong. Once I've gotten that plate in, you want to install this top plate up here. Yep, like I said, you see these three screws here. I set them in order from left to right. So what I'll do is I'll just put them, you know, I'll take the first one, put it back in the, I'm sorry about that, put it back in the first hole. This one's giving me a little trouble. Alright, once you got those two plates back in, you're ready to install the screen back onto the phone. Now to install this screen back on the phone, it's quite simple. If you've worked on iPhone 6s before, it's almost the same concept. What you'd want to do is you want to lay the phone sideways like this, and the top corner here, it would slide in first. So you want to get it at an angle. Go ahead and get the top screen in and push it up towards the top of the phone, and you should see the screen and the frame fits flush. Now once you've got that, you just work your way from the sides and work your way down, and now you have the screen installed onto the phone. And the next step here would be to take your penelope screwdriver and fasten the two remaining screws that we have on the underneath the phone. Alright, once you've gotten that in, you're ready to boot the phone on and test and see if your home button works. Okay, now our phone is powered on. home button wasn't clicking before, it wasn't responding before. So now that we have the new one in, it's working as new. So yep, that's how to change the iPhone home button assembly on the iPhone 7 Plus. Thanks for watching.